had always believed that love came quietly. Like the tide, it didn't crash into you like a storm, but whispered into your life, leaving soft traces behind. She lived in a small coastal town where the sea was both her comfort and her curse, a constant reminder of both endless possibility and quiet isolation. Every morning, she'd walk along the shore, barefoot, letting the cool waves brush against her ankles. It was her ritual, a moment of peace before the day began. One morning, as the sun rose in a blaze of gold and pink, she noticed something half buried in the wet sand. It was a bottle, weathered and green with age, sealed with a cork. Her heart gave a little skip. Inside, she could see a rolled-up piece of paper. With trembling fingers, she uncorked it and pulled the paper free. The handwriting was elegant, almost poetic, the ink slightly faded by time and water. It read, "To the one who finds this. If you're reading these words, then the sea has carried my secret to you. I write not knowing if anyone will ever see this, but I must believe love can travel even when people cannot. My heart belongs to a woman I've never met, but whom I imagine walking these same sands. If you are her, I hope you'll know it when you read these words. Adrian." Evelyn laughed softly, shaking her head. A love letter to no one in particular or to everyone. It was a beautiful, foolish, romantic idea. She slipped the note into her pocket and carried it home. The words echoing in her mind, days turned into weeks. But Evelyn couldn't stop thinking about the mysterious writer, Adrian. Who was this person who trusted the ocean with his heart? She found herself looking for him in the faces of strangers in town, wondering if he was watching the same sunsets she loved to paint. Driven by a strange impulse, she began leaving her own letters inside bottles. She'd carefully seal them and toss them into the outgoing tide. She wrote about her dreams, her childhood, her love for the shifting colors of the sky at dusk. It felt silly at first, like talking to the wind, but it was also freeing. She was sending pieces of herself out into the world with no expectation of a reply. One evening, just as twilight kissed the waves and turned the water to liquid silver, she heard a voice behind her. "You're the one sending bottles." Evelyn turned, her heart jumping into her throat. A man stood there, tall, with windswept dark hair and eyes the color of the ocean just before a storm. He was holding one of her bottles in his hand. She froze, unable to speak. You're Adrian?" she finally managed to ask. He smiled, a little shyly, and it was a smile that reached his sea-colored eyes. "I didn't expect anyone to actually answer," he said. But then, there you were. Her heart pounded against her ribs. The sea roared between them, a powerful, ancient sound. But for a moment, it was as if time had stilled, and it was just the two of them on the edge of the world. They began to meet every evening after that. Sometimes they'd sit in comfortable silence, listening to the cries of the gulls. Other times, they'd talk for hours, until the stars blanketed the sky, sharing stories and secrets as if they'd known each other for a lifetime. Adrian told her he was a traveler, a writer who had been drifting from place to place, searching for a feeling of belonging he'd never quite found. Evelyn confessed that she'd spent her whole life in this same town, but had always felt that something or someone was missing. It was in those evenings, under the shifting colors of the horizon, that they fell in love. It wasn't a sudden crash, not like lightning. It was like a tide that rose a little higher each day, until one morning Evelyn realized she couldn't remember the sound of the sea without also hearing the echo of Adrian's laugh. One night, as they sat watching the moon's reflection ripple across the dark waves, Adrian took her hand. His fingers laced through hers, a perfect fit. "I think," he said softly, his voice barely a whisper above the surf, "that I wrote that first letter for you even before I knew you existed." Evelyn's eyes stung with happy tears. "And I think," she whispered back, "that the sea always knew it had to bring you to me." He kissed her, then a kiss that was gentle and certain, like two stories finally meeting at the same, long-awaited ending. Years later, their house stood on the cliff overlooking the ocean. The shelves were filled with glass bottles of every shape and color, each one holding a letter from their early days, a testament to their beginning. And every morning, Evelyn still walked barefoot on the shore, feeling the sand between her toes. But now, Adrian's hand was always in hers, because sometimes love doesn't arrive with a knock on the door. Sometimes it drifts across the sea, carried by fate, just waiting for the right person to find it. Thanks so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please give it a like and subscribe for more tales of love and connection. We'll see you in the next video.